Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a Valentine's Day bonus tarot oracle reading. And Aquarius, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Aquarius, we still all have a little bit of Aquarius in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Aquarius in, that's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Keep in mind, this is a general or collective reading, so parts may or may not resonate. Take what works for you and just leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you are watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. If some time has passed by since I have posted this reading, just check what was going on back then in your life. It may give you further insight as to your situation now. So we're going to start with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we have the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is saying the Pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, happiness. It's about lifestyle, basically. A big part of that, of course, is money, but you know, you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want. So this is talking about the give and take in life, and how much you invest in others and in yourself, how much you give and how much you take. And so how much you pay people, how much time and energy you give. Because Pentacles are about time, energy, and money. Do you want to come up here, Stella? My cat. No. She says no. Okay, then be quiet. Sorry. So this is the Six of Pentacles. It's about planting seeds so that you can reap them after. And the energy here is he's giving coins to this person, but not to this person. He has the scales of justice over this person because they already have something in their pocket here. And so they don't need the money like this person does. So he's not, he's not giving them anything, giving this person anything, because he already has something and he can go to work kind of energy. So the overriding energy or underlying energy for this reading is, for the whole reading, is the, it's time to sow seeds so that you can reap them later. That kind of energy. And we have the Hermit. So the Hermit's been coming up quite a bit. So the Hermit represents the black night of the soul. And so the black night of the soul is when you've gone through a really tough time and you're seeking guidance from God. So you go climb up onto the mountain and you isolate yourself. And then when your lantern is full of the light from your North Star, the North Star is your purpose in life, basically, the guiding light towards that. Well, your purpose in life is to be the best version of yourself. But upon that, you could have a special mission or something that you feel you need to do while you're on the planet. And we have the staff that he's holding becomes golden, and that's when he knows, okay, it's time to come down from the mountain and put into action what I have learned. And we have the Page of Cups coming in. So this energy is talking about someone who is this is a cup of love. Generally, this represents romantic love. Sometimes the cups of love can also be about other types of love. I just did a reading for the sign of Capricorn, and that was the case in that reading. It was about love for an ill family member, more energy. But there's all sorts of love. But this is talking probably romantic love. It is a Valentine's Day reading, so I was kind of surprised the other one came in, but that's just what came up. So the energy here is focusing on the cup, and he's focused on this fish in the cup. Now he knows there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he is focused on this fish. This is the fish that has his attention. He wants to get to know this fish better. So this could be some sort of communication coming in. The Page of Cups would work for the king and queen in the court, generally from around the age of 7 to 14. And he would deliver messages and do small tasks around the palace. And then if he was good at that, when he was 21, if he could afford a horse, he could be maybe considered for knighthood. And so he is studying this fish in this cup and saying, hey, I would like to get to know this fish better. That kind of energy. And then we have some sort of transition coming in. So this is the Death card. So a lot of people panic when they see this, but it doesn't usually mean an actual person dying or something like that. What this means is someone who could be, it's transition from, into rebirth as well as death. And we have the energy of here, the king has been trampled. Now that doesn't represent someone actually being trampled. It represents systems and, that have been put in place for a very long time, like are being changed right before our eyes, kind of energy. And that definitely is the energy that we're in right now, due to several astrological forces. We do have an older person here saying, no, I don't want the change, and like maybe I can navigate with it or negotiate with this person. And the Grim Reaper saying, no, changes are coming. The one constant we can all count on is change. These little children, this one's offering the Grim Reaper a bloom. So the Grim Reaper is not meant to be an evil symbol. It's just a symbol that is in a lot of cultures around the world, representing the transition into the spiritual realm. And we have, with this energy, I was saying that there's a lot of energy out there right now that is kind of about this type of energy of something really like a transition happening. And so a big part of that is on January 26th. And right now when I'm doing this reading, it is February, it'll be February the 5th when it's posted. The sign of Neptune, or the planet Neptune, has been in the sign of Pisces for 14 years now. And last year it started moving because it's getting ready to go into Aries. And the thing is that it finally settled in Aries permanently on January 26th. And so this is a very large planet, and it has a big pull on our energy. And Neptune basically is the energy of idealism. It's about, how things, seeing the opportunities and things, etc. And also putting that to work. So when it was in Pisces, it was more dreamy and, more kind of like dreams come true kind of energy. And now that it's in Aries, it's like, bang, it's new. The Aries energy is represented by the ram. And it's very rammy energy. It can be very stubborn. Aries is the very first sign in the zodiac. And so they are all about rebirth and birthing. How do babies come in? Head first. And that's kind of the energy of the Aries. It can be very aggressive. Aries is ruled, the planet is ruled by Mars, and it's an aggressive planet. You think about a newborn baby that has to learn everything that they learn in the first year of life there. And by, they're totally helpless when they come out. And a year later, there they are, they're starting to eat solid food. They're starting to talk. They've learned how to sit up, how to crawl, and maybe even take a few steps, that kind of energy. And so that energy happened on January 26th, Neptune moving for another 14 years into the sign of Aries. And on the day before Valentine's Day, on the 13th, Saturn is also moving into Aries. And Saturn is all about responsibility and the way things are done and that kind of energy. It's a very deep, heavy energy. And Saturn is a huge planet as well. It takes 28 years for Saturn to make its rotation. And so it particularly has a strong pull on people that are around the age of 28 or 29. And then again, when you're about 54, around that age, and then again in your 80s, 28 years later there, and after that, probably you don't have to worry about it because you would be 120 or something like that. But Saturn is about really having, if you facing your responsibilities, and if you don't face them, there's dire consequences. And so that energy, it's almost like Neptune and Saturn are arguing with each other over the next 14 years anyways. So it's going, and that energy has been felt pretty strongly moving into 2026 here. And so that this transition energy also, when we moved from 2025, that was a 9-year. And so it was the end of an almost decade-long cycle. And then we moved into the energy of the new year, 2026, was a 10-year that breaks down to a 1. So it's about new beginnings. And so it's very much similar to that Aries energy. So it's kind of almost being asked to, like, okay, you put all this energy into learning something for the last 14 years in Neptune, because it's about growth and learning, etc., like, and idealism. And now it's like, oh, forget that. Now we're in Aries. It's that kind of energy. And so it can be very, it's all a lot of new. Okay, and then we have the 9 of Pentacles coming in. So the 9 of Pentacles is representing your environment. There's 9 coins here. And the coins represent, like we talked about these 6 here. So look at how she has her hand on the 6 coins here. And then she has another 3 behind the bush. So this is talking about the 9 of Pentacles is just 1 pentacle away from the ultimate amount that are in the tarot. And this is talking about pre-Empress energy. So if you've ever heard of Nikola Tesla, that he talked about, the beauty of the 3-6-9. And I feel a big part of that is because of the ratio of, 3 to 6 to 9. And so she always has her hand on 6 pentacles and keeps that for herself to make sure that she is in a strong place and able to move forward and has enough to run her business, run her household, do all of that. And then she has the 3 extra pentacles now, and those are the ones that she would maybe invest in more iffy, gamble-y type investments, and maybe for charity, and maybe if a family member needs help or that kind of energy. Like and so she keeps that ratio, knowing that she has to look after herself to be able to continue giving. And this card can also talk a lot about having a lot of appreciation for what you already have, and then drawing more of that to you. And it's also a card about decluttering your environment. When your environment is decluttered, then your mind is less likely to be cluttered. Okay, so we have a celebration. Now the cups, this is finally the love coming in here. I'm just warning you. I thought, oh, it's going to be so lovely. I'm going to do some lighthearted Valentine's Day romance readings. And they've been like really heavy. And I feel because of this energy of the Neptune and the Saturn, and also the change from a decade into a totally new decade. And then we have all this energy about the leadership of the world, and that's kind of like that Neptune Saturn energy, and like all the files that came out, and like, oh my goodness, all the truths that are coming out for things that people have been doing for years, and names being named. And it's just like, if you turn on the news, it's like, oh, I can only handle it for a few minutes. And I'm like, nah, that's enough. I feel it's important that we kind of keep on top of what's happening in the world as much as possible, but we don't have to sit there and saturate ourselves in it, because it's pretty negative right now. It's actually quite, it's disgusting and really challenging to listen to some of it, because it's like, such an abuse of power in so many ways, and on the most innocent, of children, basically. But anyway, let's go back to the love. But like I've noticed with other tarot readers, and I work with a group of people that have YouTube channels and that, and a lot of people are feeling this energy. It's just heavy. It's really like, whoa, like really, it's, man, when Neptune moved in on the 26th of January, when it moved into Aries, it did, like, it was like, bang, here I am. I'm here to stay. It's that kind of energy. And so we have the cup of love and this is actually representing your energy. So it's like either someone is focusing their love on you, or you're focusing your love on them. I also want to bring up for you, Aquarius, because there's a lot of sort of extra energy around this. The full moon that we just had on the 1st of February, now it's going to be the 5th when I post this. So that energy is dissipating, but we're still feeling it, and you may have been feeling it. Just as a side note, I do have on my playlist, I have the new moon, full moon readings on a playlist if you're interested in looking up your sign and going there and, just checking it out. If you want more information about the full moon, and I will be posting a video on the new moon coming up. This is what I want to talk to you about, Aquarius, in case you don't see that. So the Aquarius energy is across the wheel from the Leo energy. And the full moon that we just had on the 1st was in the sign of Leo. And Leo energy is about leadership. And it was talking about, like, Leo was saying, I want to express myself as an individual. I may be a leader, but I have needs of my own, what we're talking about here, basically. And Aquarius energy is saying, oh no, you need to look after the group energy first. You need to look after your responsibilities at work. You need to look after your family, and you need to look after the whole world. And it's that kind of energy. And so Aquarius is shining the light on this Leo energy on the full moon. And then the new moon coming up on the 17th is going to be that's going to have a lot of energetic wallop. That's what we're already feeling, because the new moon is going to be in your sign in Aquarius. And it's also the first day of the Chinese New Year. And so we're moving from the year of the snake into the year of the fiery horse. And this energy is very free-spirited and passionate, and again, wanting to express yourself. It's about setting high goals in your career and your business, that kind of energy. And it's like, the problem with that part of it is that you might be setting goals that are so challenging to achieve that you don't give yourself enough time to achieve them, and you burn yourself out, kind of energy. And in matters of love, it's very passionate, and horses have big hearts, and so it's really heartfelt energy. And then we also have with the horse energy, it can be very impulsive. So if you've ever seen a horse spook and run, it's that kind of energy. It's saying be very careful not to be too impulsive and to hold your temper, because emotions are running high. Mars is a pretty you know how loud babies can be when they're newborn, because they want to be fed. They need to have their needs met, and so they have a tendency to be loud about it. It's the only way that they can get our attention, basically. And so that energy is directly, Aquarius is going to really be feeling that new moon. And on that same day, so it's the Chinese New Year, and we're moving from the snake year into the horse year. And then we also have the Aquarius new moon, and we have an eclipse, a solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse, that energy comes in bang, and it's the first eclipse of the season. And so it's going to, that energy can last for about 6 months. And it's also saying, hey, what are you going to do for the world, kind of energy. So it's people are starting to really feel it already. It's quite a strong energy. And you'll notice a lot of that energy coming up in the planet in the coming week or so. And so with the energy the day before moving, with Saturn moving into be with Neptune in the Mars energy, and Aquarius having been in a strong role here for the full moon, and now for the new moon, you must really be feeling it, Aquarius. So this energy is talking about these cups of love, and that's pretty much like the astrological influences that are out there. And with all the energy that's on the planet right now, it's been really interesting. My love readings have been more like Singles Awareness Day readings in some ways. And so I'm just warning you, like, they're not like as fluffy as I wanted them to be, but I'm just reading the cards that come up. So this card is talking about what should be a celebration. I mean, these people are toasting, and but the thing is, none of them are looking at each other, so they're not toasting each other. They're toasting something that has happened, an event or something that has happened. And this energy is also, in the cups represent, if we're looking for romantic love here, and these cups represent, you know, that romantic love. But if you, in many cultures, particularly in Europe, if you don't look someone in the eye when you're toasting them, it causes 7 years bad luck in your romance, in your romantic life. So you want to, like, that's the last thing we want. It's counterproductive. So this energy, it's more like that they're celebrating something that has happened to someone or something, like that kind of energy, or an event that's happened, than actually being in celebration with each other. And sometimes this can represent, because there's 3 people, sometimes there can be gossip about a couple, you know, and maybe there being a third party in the couple, and everybody knows but the people involved kind of energy, you know. It's the talk of the town kind of energy. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles coming in. So the Queen of Pentacles, she's very focused on health, wealth, happiness, and the coin. And she's known for being quality over quantity. And so this is talking about old money. This is a lot of money. This is like generational wealth, a legacy of wealth. She is sitting on her throne, and she's known for being able to be very resourceful and make something out of nothing. And at the same time, she prefers quality over quantity. Like, it's old money. Old money, people don't flash it around like people who have new money. Typically, that's generally speaking. And so this energy is someone that you can rely on, that understands how money works and how to run a household kind of energy, you know, someone that you can rely on. And now we have some passion coming in, and this is from the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands energy, like, this is talking about passion. This wand is made of wood, and he's very passionate about his wand. Think of someone 21 years or younger, basically. A young boy, like young male energy, young masculine energy. And so he's very enthusiastic, and he's very adventurous and passionate, and probably very impulsive about what he's doing and who he's with, etc. He really loves his wand, so it's not unusual for him to be thinking with his little head to make his decisions. And so this is someone that loves the mysteries of life, and, you know, just exploring, and really enthusiastic about trying new things, etc. So this energy, we have 2 pages on either side here. And these 2 pages, like, one represents love and the other one passion, so that's a good thing. It's some sort of communication coming in regarding that. Having said that, it's kind of more like a first date or that kind of energy. It's not, if it was like more developed love energy, romantic love, it would be, the knight would be showing up rather than the page. This is talking about the beginning stages of a relationship, like maybe the first date, that kind of energy. So you could be getting some sort of message coming in that someone who has their eye on you is now, like, really looking, and this could be you having your eye on someone and wanting to get to know the other person better. So looking at this is the energy that you're in right now. This is how you identify with yourself. It's saying, like, you know that there are plenty of fish in the sea, but you're really focused on this one. Sometimes it can mean there's something fishy going on in your love life if you already are in a relationship and something smells, because if you take a fish out of water for long enough, it's going to stink. But the energy generally means that someone has, and this could even be someone that you met on online dating kind of energy. And then we have the Grim Reaper is the image of your abundance and that. So there's some sort of transition happening in your lifestyle. So maybe this is someone that you've gone on a few dates and it's becoming more serious. And then we have this energy here about this is how you're used, your communication, your lifestyle when you were growing up. And so this energy is like you come from some, you know, like more of generational wealth. So you come from a family that either, you know, it could be the energy of, passing money down from one generation to the other. So you could be a trust fund baby or that kind of energy, depending on how much wealth is there. But you definitely are at least middle class or, upper middle class kind of energy. And then we have the home and family and the emotional foundation. So yeah, I feel like this energy isn't talking about like love between two people. This is talking about something or, something that happened in the family or something that happened in an event, or it could be, as I said, in matters of romantic love. It could be gossip, slander. And, generally, if it's romantic love, you don't want 3 people involved. You want 2. And so that's why this card can sometimes represent that energy of a third party energy. And then we have creativity and romance and your children. So this is sort of talking about being mature enough to get to the point where you are ready for a commitment like marriage or like a partnership that's more committed and wanting to start a family kind of energy. We have this, Page of Wands, again, very enthusiastic and passionate. This is talking about routine and habits. So I feel like maybe you've been dating someone a few times and things are becoming a little bit more serious here. So yay, we have some romance in this one. Yeah, and then we have the Lovers. So yeah, I'm getting this is like very passionate. So this is talking about a connection that you were meant to have with someone. This is talking about, there's a lot of passion in the relationship. So this is, the hot and heavy stage kind of energy where you don't know each other that well yet. That's what the cloud in between you represents. And the advice that a lot of people are getting in the love readings, and because you're like the second last one, has been to take if you want a real strong relationship, date, and don't be like on the first date, oh, I'm looking for my marriage, I'm looking to get married. Not that kind of energy. Just go out on a date and enjoy and then get to know someone really well before you make decisions regarding your commitment. Because it's kind of funny, but I've noticed that a lot of people, and it's a lot of people, a lot of people go off this energy and the attraction, but they put more energy into like doing research on who they're on a new car they're buying than they do on a person that they're marrying. And it's like probably one of the most it's going to have the strongest influence on your life for many, many years. And if you marry well, it usually works out that your life is a lot more pleasant, that kind of energy. And so this is the energy of, this has been coming up a lot in the readings too. And I feel it's because this energy of this division from the 2025 to 2026, where it's really changing, and then going into the year of the excuse me, I've got the hiccups. Going into the energy of the fiery horse from the snake, like that's pretty different energy. And what this is saying is you've got, this person is standing at the top of the turret of their castle and they're surveying their domain. And he's got a globe in his hand, and this represents the world. And it's saying, I feel like I have the world in my hands here. Like I've been very successful. This quite often can represent an entrepreneur or being really passionate about where you're going. But he is wanting to expand his horizons. And so that could mean that he's passionate, but he hasn't maybe found the person that he might have lovers, but he hasn't found the person that he wants to marry yet. That's the kind of energy I'm getting if we're going to put a romantic swing on it. Because it can really mean, it also could mean you really love your business and it's like your baby kind of energy, And I quite often see this as a card of franchising. This is a big fish in a little pond energy. So, he's kind of realizes that if he wants to get this, accumulate this generational wealth, like this 9 of Pentacles, and then, have like the 10 of Pentacles, so the ultimate in lifestyle, he is going to have to expand his horizons and maybe move to a new location. This can represent actually wanting to move, and it could be maybe you've met someone that's further away and you're looking for like wanting to move to where they're at, because maybe you started dating, maybe you met, you know, on a trip somewhere or something, and then, or at a business conference or something like that, and now you're like, wow, I really am interested in this person and I'd like to get to know them better. And now you're maybe starting to talk like more serious relationship, and it's not just a lover type relationship. You're actually wanting to maybe make some sort of commitment. It doesn't necessarily at the page level mean marriage or that strong of a commitment, but that you want to maybe be exclusive with each other, that kind of energy. And then we have the Four of Wands. This has come up in quite a few of the readings. I'd say about half of them. So this is the card for marriage in tarot. This card, the Four of Wands, represents fulfillment and the beginning of fulfillment. So this is basically saying, you know, you have walked through the portal, and this energy is saying, I want, like, this fulfillment is like having the home and the, you know, the couple and the healthy children playing in the yard, and but basically what it's saying is you have the down payment for your castle, which is a huge achievement, but you're still going to have to make the mortgage payments. If you already are with someone, you're still going to have to work on the marriage if you want it to be, you know, last longer than the wedding, that kind of energy. And if you haven't met someone yet, it's saying you're at the beginning stages of making that kind of a serious commitment, just depending on where you're at in this. And this energy here also represents the 1111 or 111 portal. And that's kind of a synchronicity. And you may have noticed it since you met this person, because that's the universe's way of, through synchronicity, showing us, hey, you're on the right track. And so with the 111 or 1111 portal, what happens is you start noticing, like, all of a sudden you'll look up at the clock and you'll be, oh, it's 111. And it was just, you already had just looked at it at 1111. And you're like, that's weird. Then the next thing, you have a package that you're going to go pick up. And you look up the address and it's 111 11th Avenue. And you're like, what? And then you get in the car and you're driving along and someone cuts you off, and on their license plate has 111 on it. And you're like, oh, whatever, right? And this person speeds past you. And then as you're driving along, you're going by, and a couple blocks down, there's been a fender bender. And it's not you, it's them. And so it's that kind of energy. It's synchronicity. And what it's saying is, be very careful what you're thinking at this time, because you are manifesting at a very high level, and you want to make sure that you're focused on what you want, not on what you don't want. And so quite often when the 111 or 1111 hits, you'll be like, you'll realize, you'll check yourself and you'll realize, oh, I was just having a really negative thought. And that's kind of like, you know, energy, or energy is going to flow where your attention goes. So that's how the universe works when it comes to abundance. It's about the vibration, not so much the words you're saying, or you know, saying this is what I want, but not putting the energy in to actually feel that way, like you already have it, that kind of energy. And so we have the moon. And the moon's coming out again. We've talked about the moon, and if you want to know more, you can check out that playlist. It's actually on the same playlist as this. And so the moon energy is a brilliant time to use your intuition and be able to move forward, making maybe a decision about, because this is sitting right in your house of marriage. So this is talking, hey, we're ready to make a commitment here. And that may be why this card has come up. Now, I'm trying to remember when this card, it doesn't really matter. I'll put it here and then put it here. Somewhere like that. It's not that big of a deal, because we're telling the story. I think that might have even come here and then that. But we'll just leave it the way it is, because whatever happens in tarot, it just happens. And then we have the King of Cups coming in. The King of Cups has been coming in a lot, which is really not surprising, I guess, because this is about romance. At the beginning of the readings, it was more the King of Wands, which was more about passionate. And a lot of those readings, though, were about having to clean up a past relationship so that you can move forward with a new one. This one is more like, okay, there's real love here. The King of Cups is the most emotionally available of all the kings in the deck. He is sitting on his throne out in the middle of all this choppy water. And so those waves are representing like choppy emotions, a lot of chaos, a lot going on. And yet he's totally calm because he's very in charge of his own emotions, which makes him extremely emotionally available. So he's very steady. He's someone who is most likely to be in a traditional relationship. And in matters of love, like he has a very mature outlook. And it's like someone that you can count on. And then we have the Five of Swords coming in. So the Five of Swords is representing, I feel like what this is representing, we're going to go with, this sometimes can be like you having a big battle with other people, and like it's kind of the energy of anything to win kind of energy. But I feel it doesn't really fit so much into this reading in that way. So it can also mean that this is actually yourself. And remember I said what your purpose is to be the best version of you. So this is talking about 3 different versions of you that you've grown from. And I feel like this sword here represents your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is formed by the time you're about 6 years of age. And like you're not going to remember from when you were a baby, probably, for sure. And sometimes we have just a few memories of, until we're kind of in kindergarten, we start school. And so this energy is talking about your subconscious mind is what you rely on a lot of the time, like especially when people are emotional or like in love and excited, or upset or whatever. When the emotions are running high, quite often the subconscious mind wins. It's the first one that comes up, but it really is the thoughts of the people that were in charge of your care. When you think about it, it's not your thoughts, it's their thoughts, because they were telling you, this is what you were like when you were younger. You don't really remember. And this is heavily imprinted on us. So sometimes in matters of love, it can cause us to make kind of iffy, that these are the what ifs down here, the internal forces. It can cause us to make iffy, shifty decisions when it comes to love, just because of that energy. And then we also have the unconscious mind. And so if you think of yourself, a lot of people think of themselves as a human being with a soul, but it is more accurate to say that you are a soul that is traveling in your human body. And your human body is your vehicle for getting around on planet Earth and getting shit done. So that kind of energy is your unconscious mind. And so your soul has needs just as your physical body does, and how your mental capacity does. So the unconscious mind is speaking about your will to move forward, that kind of energy, and about your soul's needs. And then he has a handle on his conscious mind, because his conscious mind is what he knows, like what he sees with his own eyes, what he has learned about himself. And so that kind of energy, when those 3 swords come together, the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind come together, and they plug into the heart, then you have a lot of congruency, and it creates a situation where you're very likely to manifest what you want. And if that's what you want is love, it's very, there's a lot of energy around romantic love here. And also having a really good lifestyle after a bit of transition, but nothing like the last few readings for a lot of other people. So I think if you've ever loved, you probably have been hurt at some point in any relationship, but sometimes it can get really out of hand. And then this is the card saying, yes, you've made that decision. You're walking through this portal. That's the action that you're taking. So I feel like either you're proposing marriage to someone or they're proposing marriage to you. But it definitely feels like that's where we're headed here. I'm going to clarify this for everyone here that is Aquarius, and anyone that might be watching that's interested in an Aquarius, that kind of energy. If you are enjoying this reading, please give it a like and comment. It really helps me build my channel. I really appreciate it. Also, I'm going to clarify now with my oracle cards, Tales from the Vector, Tails from the Vector, and I have a website at .com, talesfromthevector.com. And in that there's a gallery, and the numbers on the cards that I'm using here represent the numbers of the paintings in the gallery. And I started this back in 2007, and completed the 64th painting in 2020. There's some really 3 foot by 4 foot big paintings, several of them, which are the dragon energy coming in, future dragons from coming in from different parts of the world and different parts of the celestial skies. And so that kind of energy, I finished the last painting in 2020, and I did before that have the cards out at psychic fairs and my seminars, but now I didn't have it done in its entirety. So the information I have, but I now want to build on it by actually using the cards and seeing how they work in readings. And then when I'm satisfied, okay, I have the energy correct, then I'm going to write it up and get it printed out. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also patient about it because I know it's going to take a bit of time for every card to come out and really get a sense here. So we're just going to tune in here. Okay, this is what wants to come out. I'm just going to be a little more clear here because it was like, it felt like there were several cards that wanted to come out, but only one. Oh, there we have it. Okay, now we have, oh wow, that's a lot of cards. Oh well, we'll start with these. So we have the Six of Pentacles here. We have transition happening. So again, it's reconfirming this energy here that you have a transition of some sort happening. And I feel like maybe it's because you met someone now that you're really interested in and you're passionate about, and you're even considering marriage, and like you're like, whoa, I can't even believe I'm doing that, but I am. That kind of energy. Or you, the person, your partner is wanting to propose marriage, that kind of energy. We have the Six of, is the number 6 card in the major arcana, the Lovers, and that's sitting on the Hermit. So going up to the mountain was the best thing you could do, because then the Lovers came in, and look at it sitting right on top. It could be sitting right between the two of them here. We're just going to do that. So your internal forces and your external forces are in agreement that it's time for you to get in a position of love. And the Lovers card is confirming that. We also have the card of destruction. So in the past, you may have done some, I keep getting some online dating, and maybe it was, there's a lot of tactics and games and that kind of energy, and it didn't feel like you were really making a whole lot of progress in finding the person of your dreams. And then you randomly meet them, find them, and now you're in this energy of, hey, I'm ready, and I know what I want. That's the energy coming up. We have the Emperor here. So the Emperor is all about performance. It's all 4 kings rolled into one, and that's how you're feeling right now. Like, so this could be the energy that you're wanting, the one who was wanting to propose, and you're getting ready, you know, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a big transition in your life, but you're really like ready for it, and you're ready to move forward. I feel like this is just saying the Hangman is about having balance in your lifestyle, in your life. And I feel like this is saying you're tired of just hanging around. The energy in the deck for the Hangman is a dragonfly that's on an echinacea flower, and she's doing a headstand basically. So she's hanging. She's not hanging, but she's doing a headstand on this echinacea flower. And it's talking about a lot of healing kind of energy and balancing things out. We have Mother's Worry on this card here. Now, this is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. I've become my mother after all. That's the kind of energy that you said, oh, when I grow up, I'm never going to be like my mom. I'm not going to do it the same way. And maybe your mom was walking on a wild side, or she was very domestic, you know, depending. And so it's kind of like we tend to say we're not going to be like our parents, and then we end up being a lot like them. And that's the energy coming in here. We have this energy coming in. This has been coming in a lot of the readings as well. It's because it's temptation. And so on some level, like that position is in your creativity and wanting of romance and that. So I just feel like maybe you were doing a lot of dating and you're attempting, and it was more about the lust than the love kind of energy. It was more, you weren't finding someone that you would want to spend the rest of your life in, but you were getting involved in relationships, which really, and like I can understand that, because I mean that's what you have to do to get to know someone, but it kind of defeats the purpose if you're looking actually committed to wanting to be married. Then you're spreading yourself thin basically. And so we're going to see what is the card that comes up when with the devil here, because the devil he won't do his own dirty work. He'll send in a minion. So we want to see who does the devil send in. And this is this is talking about a foolhardy energy. So I feel like this is someone who God is covering this, because if you're on a foolish journey, it means you have expectations, and the expectations create limitations in your love life. Because that's what we're talking about here. But the energy of the foolhardy is when you anticipate the future, because you have worked through what you want. You've done the dark night of the soul. You've worked on yourself, and you've healed from past situations, or at least have a more clear understanding about why maybe things didn't work out in particular relationships. And another thing that's been coming up, and it's coming up in this reading as well, is that it can be the energy of having a certain type and being stuck on, oh, that's the type I like. And it's kind of like God saying, maybe you need a new type. It doesn't seem to be working out the way you want it to. So this is saying, keep an open mind, and that's Judgment card is coming in. So this is being unfettered, like keeping an old mind, and like if you bump into someone and you're really attracted, but they're very different from the person you normally would be attracted to, it's okay. Don't panic. Don't run the other way. Like, get to know them better, and you might be surprised how interesting it is. And then we have the attachment. And so this is saying basically right here, you don't want to be in the karmic space of attachment, but I feel like this is saying that, in a good way, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is also mine. It's spinning a web together and, wanting to be together. So being attached to each other, which you want to be to some extent for sure. When you're going to be married to someone, you want to be like emotionally attached, and you want to be attached in matters of money and that kind of energy. But having said that, you don't want to be karmic about it, like where it takes over your life, being so attached to someone. And then we have the Venus energy coming in, which is all about love. And that's coming in with Taurus. So the pre-Empress energy here, this energy is ruled by Venus, and so is the Taurus energy. And so the Taurus, you think about a toddler, because this is at the transition that's happening, is that it's going, you're going to have to, if you're going to get in a committed relationship, you're going to have to share things. And you know how much toddlers like to share, and you're going to have to give of yourself at times when you would rather not. You're tired yourself, but your partner needs you, so you do it. It's that kind of energy, and being like a more mature version of it. And then we have surrender, which is about psychic energy, and it's also talking about surrendering to God's plan. It's not uncommon, like if you're in this situation where you're planning to move forward in your love life, that all of a sudden the ancestors all perk up and they start making their presence known in one way or another from the other side. Then we have dissension here. So dissension is with friends like this who needs enemies. So it's talking about swimming with sharks. And so I feel like, and you know, there's rough water here. So I feel like the king, like it's, dissension is when you divide a group by talking, oh, so-and-so said this about you. Oh, and then go back to the other person. Oh, they said this about you. Oh, I thought you were a good worker, but they don't. That kind of energy. So dissension can be, you know, something that you could even be talking yourself into. Oh yeah, that this person is one way or another, and they really aren't. And so this is saying, get to know each other. That's why you know, make sure you get to know each other before you decide to marry someone. And then we have the energy of Gemini. So Gemini is talking about the communication style between you and your partner. And also, you know, it's that energy where you're achieving your heart's desires. So like I think I spoke about that. I can't remember if I said it in this reading, but the Gemini energy is when you get to the kindergarten. Taurus is the toddler. Now we're at Gemini energy. And this energy is saying that this is like the first time really you know, when you first start school and you start looking around and you realize, hey, these other kids don't, you know, they dress differently than me. Some of them might be a different color from another culture, that kind of energy. And it's like, oh, like their parents are different from my parents, and they even talk differently than I do, and that kind of energy. That's when we first start learning that that our home, our environment in our home is not necessarily the same as the environment in a lot of other people's home. It's that first beginning step of getting out in the world and really learning about the give and take of life. And then we have the energy of Capricorn, which is about being responsible. So yeah, Capricorn energy, and that's also that Saturn energy coming in, and the devil energy is also it's ruled by Saturn. So this is talking about being really responsible with your relationship, like that. If you're going to go into this relationship, this is a spiritual connection. And especially if God has sent in a particular person for you after you've gone to the mountain and prayed, you want to respect that, because that would be an anointed. God doesn't anoint all marriages. Some marriages, God's yelling at you, don't do it. That kind of energy. This one's a player. That kind of energy. So yeah, this is saying, I do feel that you've met someone or you're about to meet someone, and it's going to be passionate, and it could very easily lead to marriage. It definitely some sort of commitment for sure. So yay, we had a nice romantic Aquarius reading, just like I wanted. All right, so I do hope you've enjoyed this. Please like and comment if you have. It really helps me build my channel. And consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. And, you know, check out the full moon readings, new moon readings. I will be doing a new moon reading. I think I'll do the middle of the month for you first, Aquarius, and then I'm going to do a reading on the whole eclipse energy and the Chinese New Year and the Aquarian reading then. Because that one for sure, because this is really going to have a strong effect on you. All right, I will be back soon. Bye for now.